All right, and we're recording. Welcome, everybody. This is Saskatoon's first for Saskatoon Minor Football. This is our virtual coach clinic and training. We ran one for the grade ones and fours last weekend, and I learned a lot. And I'm really excited for this clinic and making it more geared towards the grade fives through eight. So again, just a reminder to keep your computers on mute. If you do have any questions, there's a chat bar in the bottom. You could just put the questions to the right. I did have some technical difficulties last week due to the internet connection. So if I do kind of vanish and my audio and or video goes, I'll do my best to quickly kind of get back. So just wait patiently. And I kind of apologize in advance because I'm sure it's going to happen again. So first things first, my name is Matt Yowzy. I've been involved with Saskatoon minor football for 20 years, and it's crazy to say out loud, but that's the case. So I actually grew up in Saskatoon and I played in the touch football league. And then we turned after high school. I kind of got involved in, and eventually all these programs and everything else. But I've spent a lifetime of playing football and coaching football, all different levels, flag, tackle. I really love the game, and I'm hoping that this spring we can get back out on the field in some sort of capacity and play the best game there is in the world. So um, I'm much better in person, and I love clinics, and I love the dynamic about being around people. And so this is really challenging, being in a room by myself and trying to facilitate this. So I'm just going to do my best, and you know, it's. It hopefully is a little bit fun. Hopefully you get to add something into your coach's toolbox. I know we've got some really experienced coaches online here, and we've probably got some really brand new ones, or maybe parents that are interested, or ones that kind of get thrown into the position of coaching. So we're going to go through our game day procedures and protocols, which is a document that I emailed. After that, we're going to check out the Football Canada mobile app, and we're going to kind of pick around there. I also picked up this nifty little whiteboard, so we're going to be doing some things on there, and we'll check out some online content. So the one thing that's great is you type in flag football drills skills into YouTube, and you're going to get lots. And I guess you just have to cater it to what your specific needs are for your age groups and so on and so forth. Just a reminder, if you do have questions, put it in the chat and I'll do my best to get to them. The first part took about 45 minutes getting through the game day procedures and protocols, and we'll just have a really short break and we'll get into the rest of it. So first things that I want to talk about is your players' needs. So whether you're working with grade 5, 6, or 7, 8, I think the players, need to feel safe. So whether that's where you're running your practices, what kind of drills you're doing, the communication that you're using, they need to feel a sense of belonging. And that's one thing about football. It's a great team sport. You're one of 5 people on the field. You're a part of 10 to 12 people on a team. And so inclusion is important. And we're going to talk about that through the training on and how to get everybody involved, whether that's touching the ball at center or having a turn at quarterback throughout the season, or getting a handoff as a running back, or getting to be the rusher on defense. I think it's important that everybody plays all the positions and has an experience with that. I think it's also important that football needs to be fun. And I think that can be by your energy and your attitude at practice. The drills, the gameplay, the success, celebrating small successes. It has to be fun. Everybody has to touch the ball, and to learn skills. To drill one week, and you see the progression, and it's important for young people to learn skills and to testing. Our first technical difficulty. Okay, and I'm still recording. Okay, we're good. Um, yeah, that's going to happen, and it might happen more often than I'd appreciate. But um, as we continue, parents' expectations. I think it's important that we understand as coaches, and we take on this role and responsibility that communication is very important. So, whereas early season emails, whether that be practice times, your expectations as far as being there, attendance, communicating if you are going to attend or not going to attend, communicating if someone different is going to pick the player up at practice. I think that just putting everything out there and open and creating an open line of communication with the parents is very important. And I also think that as a coach, um, to get assistant coaches is very important. So also putting out there that anybody that's interested in helping at practices or games, whether it be a full-on assistant or just helping out, I think more people the better. So I also think that parents are looking for equal opportunity. I know that there's probably going to be some fast kids on your team and some kids that can really throw the ball on your team, or do they play that position the whole time, or is there a rotation and everybody gets to do things? And I mean, with our league being built on fun and not on outcome, I think that it's very easy for us to create that equal opportunity. And I think parents also want a coach who is very just organized, at practice early, setting up the field, has a playbook, um, has, safe drills, and puts player safety at a priority. Fair play, sportsmanship, and trying to create an enjoyable experience for all. That's players, parents, and obviously the coaches. So with that, I think that we're going to move on to this PowerPoint presentation that I sent you. Hopefully you guys are all getting the screen share here. I'm just going to okay. Okay, so the equipment that the players are responsible for, mouth guards, shoes or cleats, anything that doesn't have metal on the bottom for cleats is fine. Gloves are optional. They're nice for catching the ball and ripping flags, but those are what the players need. Also, we will be gifting all the players this year a Saskatoon minor football kind of neck sleeve / mask. And we'll see how things shift forward from the provincial government as far as um, with masks. And that's for a question for Brian Giebert, our commissioner. But we provide a range of footballs, usually in the grade 5 to 8 division. They're a little bit larger, but not a full size football. We usually get 4 to 5 of those in a team bag. We also will provide coaches with a whistle, flags, flag belts, cones, and everybody will be picking those up prior to the season starting. For game wear, we want to watch as coaches to make sure that no players have any earrings, necklaces, watches, rings, or anything like that that could be snagged or caught or cause injury. If someone forgets to have one of those things on, you can either, pause the game and get them to remove it or substitute a player. Jerseys must be tucked in at all times. I know that in some of our younger divisions, if the jersey's hanging over the flag belt, sometimes you can't even see the flag belt. But we do want to make sure that it's fair for everybody, so everything's tucked in. And I always make a constant reminder of just check your flags and make sure they're on your hips. And I'll do that out loud, and that's kind of for both teams as we go along, because when we run, they get shifted around, and so we just want to ensure that they're on the hips. Any personal equipment, and hopefully young athletes in the age group of 5 to 8 don't have any things like knee braces or ankle braces or anything of that nature. But if they do, just make sure that it's covered, whether that's covered when, I don't know, with a tensor bandage or a big tube sock that's kind of cut that they can slide over any type of metal or hard plastic that's exposed. That would be a good thing just to create player safety. As you can see in this photo here, these players got the flags on their hips, they got the mouth guards in, and everything tucked in. So safety considerations. Coaches and officials, coaches who are officials, that's us, will use their best judgment and discretion in creating fair and safe gameplay. If there is any injuries that do occur that are serious or of serious nature, please let us know. Contact Brian at the SMF office or Tyler, who's the flag football coordinator. And we just want to keep a tab on those things, and then we can follow up and we can kind of see how folks are doing. This is a non-contact football league, and I know early in the season, especially with the young ones, not so much by the older ones, because we've got a little bit more control of our bodies. It looks like a little bit of a tackle football game. So we want to ensure that we're teaching and preparing our players to have a skill set and be able to avoid contact and keep things not on the ground. And so if the ball is dropped, or let's say caught, someone's running with it and it's fumbled, there is no fumbles in flag football. That's a dead ball, so the whistle will be blown at that time. We do want to have quick whistles as coaches in any situation where people might be going to get the ball or someone's fumbling the ball in tight space with lots of people around them. So if the ball is mishandled from the center to quarterback snap at the start of the play, in the older divisions, and by technicality, if that ball is bobbled on the snap, it's a loss of down. Now, that's at the national level and at the U16, U18 level. At this level, if it's safe to do so, we can continue play. Again, I think that I'll address this a little bit later in regards to coaches communicating with one another and being able to come up with a plan. So, whether, hey, I've got a new group of grade 5, 6s, just letting you know that I'm a brand new coach and we've got some new players and stuff, and just getting on the same page so that you guys can have a plan of action. Again, if the snap is mishandled and the rusher's coming in and so on and so forth, then of course you maybe blow the play dead and replay the down. That's often what I did in the past. So player safety is the utmost importance. We want to avoid contact on both offense and defense. Cues that I use in my coaching is to run to space and to evade, always be in an athletic stance as a defender, and to control your body at all times, because players on the ground or diving or those types of things can lead to contact. Technically, if there is contact, there should be a flag on a play. That's more of your higher level competitive nature, but we do want to definitely preach that safety is important. It is a non-contact football league, and that's whether you're coming in to get the flags or whether you've got the ball in your hand and you're running around. So field setup, we've got a little video for this. Last time I tried to play the video, it kind of crashed my computer, so I don't know if I'll be playing it, but we definitely want to get to the fields early, whether that's for practice or games. We want to inspect them. We want to look for broken glass, divots, any type of holes, garbage, debris. We want to make sure that it's a clean pitch and it's safe to use. Field length, it kind of varies. I know that we're going to get the lines painted, or do our best to get all the field lines painted prior to the season. And about 50, 60 yards in length, 20, 25 yards in width, with 2 end zones, 10 yards, and 2 5-yard marks for the no run zone or no rush zone. There's also a center line, 20 yards to each center. So we give out flat disc cones, and you kind of just set it up, and we'll go from there. So this is the video that I'm not going to play, but in your copy of this, you can play it. It clearly directs how to set up the perimeter of the field. And again, we're going to try to get all these fields lined as well. So I've been around football a very long time, and I've played in all types of weather conditions, but I've never played in lightning. So it's our job as a coach to be on those gray days, seeing and looking for those types of things. And if something, some lightning strikes, usually we stop play and we see how that goes. And if it continues, usually we'll call the game. If it kind of passes, carry on and navigating from there. I've played in lots of rain, lots of snow, sideways rain, sleet, mud, all of those things. We have to use our discretion for player safety. And if any of the weather is too extreme, then we'll just, shut things down. It does have to be communicated between the coaches. We've ran into situations before where it's a rainy night, one team shows up, one team doesn't. So make sure that as coaches, we communicate with one another to ensure that no one is showing up if your team's not interested in playing. And honestly, the players like playing in the rain. It's kind of fun for the kids. The parents don't like it so much on the sideline standing there, but the kids have fun, and this is what our league is about, is having some fun. Okay, game length and time. Games are about 2 25-minute halves. We really try to start and end games on time. I know that when we run games at SMF field, it's very strict. Games are on the hour every hour. When you're on the outdoor fields, I do know that there's a little bit more play and leniency, but I do know that we will be using those fields for the next teams rolling in as well. So 25-minute running time. Coaches are responsible for keeping a watch on that. A very short halftime. Try to spin around and get playing the games, because that's the fun part, playing, experiencing the plays. So very short halftime, and then another 25-minute halves. And how it works is, I guess that's the next slide. So at the end of the game, when 25 minutes is up, you can call for three final plays. And from there, we don't shake hands anymore, unfortunately, but we'll give 3 cheers and we'll acknowledge from distance the other team for their efforts. And then we'll clear the field, make sure that you have all your post-game meetings off to the side of the field. I'd say even away from the sidelines, to let other teams potentially start afterwards if your field is in use. Pre-game procedures. So we encourage coaches to introduce themselves prior to every game. This gives them an opportunity to share where you're at with your coaching. So some folks are probably brand new. Some of you might be parents that are interested. Some of you might be parents that are getting thrown into the fire. Some of you, and I recognize your names, you might have 5, 6, 10 years of football coaching experience already. So I think it's important for coaches to get on the same page prior to the game. If there's any issues that you've ran into previous weeks, whether it was regarding rushing or certain things that you saw or anything like that, this is when you address them and you just get on the same page. So clarification of any rules, and just to ensure that coaches are able to have be on the same page to have fun. This is the specific flag football rule book. We kind of use our own version of the rule book, but many of them are the same. So coin toss prior to the game. I would always select one captain from our team, and I would rotate the captain all the time. So it wasn't just one player. It was always whoever, everybody would get to be a captain throughout the season. So they would come into the middle. You could toss a coin, do a coin toss, or you can play rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins gets the ball at the start. So if you win, you get the ball in the first half, and then halftime, the other team will get the ball and you'll switch ends. All players must be registered to SMF for insurance purposes. We have a nice little video here of the coin toss. You can look at this in your own document that I sent. I'm not going to risk having my computer and video stop. So general play. I can't believe I don't have a whistle on me. If anybody's been into my in-person clinic, I always have a whistle and I really work the whistle well, but I don't have one on me right now. So a whistle starts and finishes every play. It's also a really important tool for just getting attention and keeping order in practices. So you'll be given a whistle by us, use the whistle. The offensive team takes possession with the ball on its own 5-yard line and has 3 plays to cross midfield. Okay. When a team crosses midfield, they have 3 more plays. If the offense fails to cross midfield or score a TD, the ball will turn over to the other team and they'll start from their own 5-yard line. If the defending team intercepts the ball, they will possess the ball from where they were flagged and start 3 downs to get to half or to score. Okay, for specific rules for grade 5-6, teams must start their offensive drive from their 5 or where they get an interception. They get 3 plays to cross half, 3 plays to score. The first player to touch the ball from the center exchange, so typically that's the quarterback, cannot run past the line of scrimmage. All right, so if anybody's new, that might be a little bit different, but that player that receives that snap is the quarterback. That player cannot run past the line of scrimmage. All laterals past the line of scrimmage are blown dead. So that, for example, if someone runs the ball, they cross the line of scrimmage and then they try to pass it back or try to lateral it to someone else, that that can't happen. So basically, if you have possession of the ball, there's no laterals, which you might see in other types of style of football play. Okay, this is changing to kind of catch up to where things are at on a national level and a little bit more competitive level. And I know in the beginning, this might be a little bit of an adjustment period, but honestly, having the rusher go on the snap of the ball creates so much more space for your offense in the passing game that it's really beneficial. So rushing is allowed on the snap in grade 5 and 6. The designated rusher has to be 10 yards away, and that will be marked by the defensive coach at a bag or a cone at the 10-yard mark. The rusher must line up within 1 yard to either side of the cone or 1 or 2 yards to either side of the cone, typically not directly on the cone. Just 1 second here, sorry. And the whole body has to be behind that cone. The rusher has an unobstructed path to the quarterback. So the rusher will start at 10 when the ball moves, not when the word hut, no, because you can have down set hut, you can have multiple huts. It's when the ball moves, the rusher moves, okay? And they have an unobstructed path to the quarterback. They can run straight to the quarterback. So as a center or as receivers or as any other offensive players, you must let that player run straight to the quarterback. All right. Rusher obstruction is a 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. Typically in our league, we are not about throwing flags and penalizing because it's non-competitive based. We're about teaching and coaching. So if that situation would occur on the field, I might suggest, okay, you coach everybody about it. Okay, this is a rusher obstruction. The rusher gets a clear path to the quarterback. And from there, maybe address the penalty side of things, maybe replay the down for the first time it happens. And if it happens again, well, then we can start to look at, okay, offense, you've got to go back 5 yards and it was first down. Now it's second down. Okay. And again, if you do have questions, you can leave it in the chat. Once I get through this presentation, I'll look at all the questions and we can answer them. Okay. Defenders can start two yards from the ball at the snap. So they don't have to start at 5 and then can move towards the line of scrimmage after the snap, but they cannot cross the line of scrimmage until the ball does. All right. So you can line up at 2, the rusher has to be at 10. All right. You can line up at 5 and the rusher has to be at 10. Line up at 5 and move up to 2. You could start at 2. So it creates a little bit of variance in what you can do with the defense. Okay. And again, if we want to create a fun experience and you've got a really experienced team and you're playing a team that has no experience, well, maybe you start the rusher at 10 and you start your players at 5 or 7 if it's that type of game. If it's like 2 competitive teams that are in grade 7 and 8 and they both played flag football for 8 years apiece, Well, yeah, line up at 2 yards or make things, have a really fun kind of competitive style game. But we also want to do create that competition or fairness and good sportsmanship. So if you have a really strong team, maybe you set your players back a little bit, which gives the offense just a little bit more time, right? Because getting flagged 1 yard from the ball, from the snap every single play for three plays at a time isn't very fun either. So coaches, you can use your discretion at that. Another thing to note, if the ball is, let's say, on the 2 yard line and you're going in to score, like you're 2 yards away, that defense can line up on the goal line. Or if it's on the 1 yard line, that defense can line up on the goal line. All right. So that changes our of where we can line up rule. Okay. Absolutely no jump spins. I encourage spinning as an evading tactic as a runner all the time, but once you leave your feet, you become a projectile. So make sure that if you're teaching spins, that your feet are on the ground while you spin. Diving is not allowed. So let's say someone's close to score, you can't dive into the end zone. This is at the national level as well. Teach run hard, run fast, evade, spin, but no jump spins. And this conversation has come up before. Well, what if someone makes a diving catch? Well, if it's a diving catch and it's not going to lead to collision, then that's great. That's a good play. No blocking. So other than the ball carrier, offensive players can't kind of continue to run and, provide protection or kind of get in the way or kind of parade them down the field. I kind of teach that, hey, once the ball is caught, the player's caught, you've ran your route, you're just going to stop. And if you stop and that player kind of weaves around you, that's completely fine. Okay, but there is no blocking. So if a blocking situation happened, you could address it and say, hey, just a reminder, everybody, there's no blocking. Once the ball is caught or run past the line of scrimmage, everybody must stop. Or if it's something that continues to happen, then you could blow your whistle from that spot. There'll be a 5-yard penalty assessed on that play. Flag guarding is another good one. Often it's unintentional. You're running with the ball and you're swatting hands of people trying to reach for the flag. Make sure that you just keep your running action. Don't worry about anything else. All right. Keep your running action, keep your arms pumping and try not to flag guard. Again, give a warning, maybe assess a penalty. Also, defensively, we cannot hold or grab jerseys or really body up. Again, this is non-contact football, so therefore play the flags. And that's one thing that I'll always stress, play the flags of the players that you're going. Be in a good body position, be in a good stance, shuffle your feet, keep in front of them and play the flag. Okay, I see some folks that are coming in with some questions and I'll answer them right after this, okay? Husky division, grade 7 and 8. Again, same type of offense from the 5, 3 plays, cross half and to score. Same rules with the first player to touch from the center quarterback exchange, no laterals. In this division, we are moving the rusher from 10 yards to 7 yards. So this is more traditional with our U16 competitive and U18. So the rusher will start at 7 yards. They can line up 1 to 2 yards either side of that rushing cone. They're the designated rusher. When the ball moves, they can move. All right. And again, the rusher obstruction penalty is applied just like it is in the grade 5-6 league. Other defenders can start 2 yards from the ball, just like the other leagues. And again, the jumping, the diving, any type of collision type plays, flag guarding, pass interference, defensive holdings are all subjective in this age group as well. Okay, coaches and gameplay. Coaches are allowed in the huddle and on the field to call plays. Typically in our younger divisions, we encourage multiple coaches, and with the older divisions, it's okay. Eventually, you start to get to a national competition or provincials or any type of competitive football, the coaches cannot be on the field. Okay. With our league, it's about fun, it's about skill development. So we allow our coaches on the field. Eventually, if you want to, take your team and potentially play in a provincials or in a competitive aspect, I would suggest trying to work away from being on the field, but we can discuss that in a little bit later with some of the things that we can do with playbooks and so on and so forth. And I also like with our, keeping players engaged on the sidelines, and this is for any level um, of any division in our flag football league. Okay, so whether that's watching the game, like having someone on the sidelines to encourage the players to watch the game and tell me what they're seeing. So, okay, what kind of defense are they running right now? And trying to keep them engaged on the field rather than the trees and the playground or the whatever there, or working on skills, whether it's throwing, catching, center, quarterback, snap, or whatever it is on the sidelines, but just keeping it football related. Okay, this is important. All offensive coaches must have a playbook. And I think that if we can be quick in the huddles, we have more plays. And that's where the fun part takes place, is on the plays, not in the huddles. So if you're more efficient, you have plays that you've practiced that play in practice, and you take that play and you run it in a game, okay, they're going to get used to the names of the plays, how the plays are set up, and all those types of things. So um, offensive coaches, we don't count steamboats. So on the snap, that rusher is coming in. We don't have to worry about that. Offensive coach, you're also looking for obstruction on the rusher as well. Since you're in the backfield, you'll be watching the quarterback from behind. You're looking at that rusher as well. So you're able to navigate that type of either communication to everybody that there was rusher obstruction, or blowing the whistle and calling a penalty. Now, you do let the play continue, and then from there you can make the call. So the play will continue if your offense, throws a touchdown on the play. Well, you don't take the penalty, then you take the touchdown. Anyways, these are things that we can discuss a little bit more in advance. Okay, defensive coaches, you're responsible for spotting and marking the ball with a cone or a beanbag. So you spot the ball exactly where it was flagged. Then you walk your 7 or 10 paces and you place the rusher cone. And that's the defensive coach's role every single play. Having playbooks even is a good idea, because there's a lot of different varieties of defense, whether it's cover one, where one player will line up across from someone else and follow them wherever they go on the field. I was a big fan of coaching zone defense, where you have eyes on the quarterback and each player has a specific area of the field. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. Being efficient in the defensive huddle, set and ready, is always a good thing. Sometimes if you're playing a more of a team or a coach that's a little less experienced and they have longer huddles on offense, I would have a ball as a defensive coach, and I would get my players to be in a stance, and I would just start throwing the ball to each of the players for that, that 20, 30, or 40 seconds. And then I throw the ball to the coach on the sidelines, and then our players are ready. So they're getting a little bit of skill within, that parameter. But it depends. If they're quick in the huddle, then there's no time for that. Defensive coach, you're also going to blow the whistle at the end of every play, right? Or whoever, offensive or defensive. If you see the flag go up that gets ripped, then you blow the whistle and go from there. Okay, 5-yard no run zone. So from each of the end zones, there's 5-yard mark. We cannot run the ball. So if we have the ball on the 5, the 4, the 3, or the 2, or even the 1, we cannot run it physically, hand off, run it into the end zone. We have to throw it. Note, you could toss or hand the ball off to a running back in the backfield who's running sideways and does not cross the line of scrimmage, and they could throw it. Offensive running rules. Once the ball has crossed the line of scrimmage, it cannot be handed off. We discussed this before. It cannot be handed off, pitched, or tossed. You can use multiple handoffs behind the line of scrimmage or laterals. Quarterback cannot run past the line of scrimmage with the ball. Now, here's the thing. Quarterback could toss the ball to the right and the player could run to the right and the quarterback could run to the left and they could catch a pass. It is the offensive ball carrier's responsibility to avoid contact with the defenders. So if the defender has the position, it's like basketball. If you have the basketball and you're driving into the lane and the defender has the position, that's a charge. So defensive players do have that same right. It's the offensive player's responsibility for evading. Defensive run rules. All defensive players are eligible to approach after the ball has been snapped and hold the line of scrimmage. So the ball has been snapped. Defense, you could come from that 2 yards right to the line of scrimmage, but you can't cross. Defensive players are not allowed to cross the line of scrimmage on any handoffs, tosses, or fakes. So even if it's a run right and they're just running sideways, you can only run and hold the line of scrimmage. Rushers can leave on the snap of the ball. And then notice I'm repeating quite a bit of things, but that's okay. That's what we do as coaches. We repeat key points. All right. So we're responsible for playing the flags, not the body. Play the flags, play the flags. It's important to emphasize avoiding collision, staying off the ground. As you can see in this photo here, this is a good body position. We have nose, knees, toes, all in alignment. That's an athletic stance. It's a great place to be on the football field, whether you're on offense or defense. And if there is contact on the play at a national level that I've coached at before, U16, U18, if there's contact, usually there's a flag on the play. But let's coach why someone ended up on the ground or teach. I know that we can, administer penalties, but I think that teaching, coaching is, more important so that we can avoid those types of situations in the future. Also note, the ball is spotted where the ball carrier's hips are when the flag is pulled, not where the ball is. So this is something that is a little bit different because in all of the pro football leagues, it's where the football is, right? That's what we're, but it's actually where the flags are. That's why there's no reaching of the ball or diving out. It's where the flags are. So keep that in mind when you're spotting the football. Okay, we spoke to many of these things before, but I will note that in this photo here, this is the tendency. So if someone is rushing the quarterback, the tendency is to put their hand up and try to block that throw. Any contact on the quarterback, that is a penalty. So as I teach, is close the distance, break down, and get the flags. And so if you get the flags and you're reaching for the flags, there's going to be less opportunity for potentially reaching and hitting someone's hand as you're throwing it, all right, which is contact. Once the offensive player is flagged, the defensive player holds up the flag. This helps notify the officials, say, hey, here it is, because I've watched many football games and I didn't know if they're flagged or not. I've accidentally blown the whistle when they in fact weren't flagged. So teaching this as a defender to show the officials that the flag is in your hand and over your head. We discourage throwing the flag like, oh, here you go, throw it back to them or throw it back to him or her at the line of scrimmage. Just place it back on the ground where you got it. And that helps the coaches spot the ball as well. Passing. A handoff in a forward direction is considered an offside pass. They're tinkering with the rule book in flag football to allow an in-front handoff. which helps with zone read and some other things that we can get into when we talk plays and a little bit like that. But as far as now, all handoffs have to be sideways or in behind. Shovel passes are allowed if the QB is behind the line of scrimmage and the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. So a shovel pass would be like down set hut, get the ball, and you just kind of like chest pass it, or a quick shovel pass, but it has to be past the line of scrimmage. It can't be behind the line of scrimmage. On interceptions that occur and remain in the end zone, so someone intercepts the ball, they get flagged in the end zone, the ball becomes dead and it's turned over, that defensive team gets the ball on their 5-yard line. Should an interception occur in the end zone, the ball carrier leaves the end zone, the ball will belong to the intercepting team at the spot that it becomes dead, or the spot that they get flagged. Coaches, you can discuss if you'll be playing interceptions from the point of return or if you start at the 5-yard line. I like playing the point of return, especially in our older divisions, 5, 6, 7, 8, because then it kind of rewards that great play. Whereas in some of our younger leagues, if a team, let's say is throwing quite a bit of interceptions, we'll have that other team start back. So they have to work the whole field, if that makes sense. Simultaneous possession, both people go up, they both catch the ball at the kind of the same time, they both come down. Usually it goes to the offensive team. Scoring, I know that we don't keep track of stats, scores, we don't have standings, wins, losses, statistics, anything like that, but I know the players do. Maybe some of the parents, but a TD is scored when one hip of the ball carrier is over the plane of the goal line. A TD is 6 points. We don't keep track of score, but for what it is, it's 6 points. An extra point can be attempted. 1 yard or 1 point extra point is taken from the 5, and a 2 point is from the 10. And you as a coach can decide what you want to do. Score a touchdown. Hey, we're going to go from the 10. All right. Then they set it up from the 10. Defensive coach places the cone down and run the play. Okay, live ball versus dead ball. If ball carrier's flag falls off, the play is whistled dead and the ball will be placed at that spot. So we do our best to get new flags. So the Velcro is good enough so it doesn't fall off, but sometimes it happens if the ball carrier is running with it and the flag falls off, we've got to blow the play dead and they'll receive the ball from that spot. Players are eligible to catch a pass or receive the ball by handoff if their flag has fallen off, but they're not able to advance the ball from that spot. So you have a receiver that's run an in and caught the ball right where the rusher used to be in the middle of the field, but they only have one flag. Well, they catch the ball and you look and you see they only have one flag, therefore you could blow the play dead there. The play will be whistled or blown dead where the player with no flag has caught the ball. Just said that, perfect. There are no live fumbles in our league, and if a player drops or bobbles or is running with the ball and fumbles it, the play will be whistled dead and played from that spot. Okay, so this again comes back to the center quarterback exchange. In our younger divisions, we have different rules. With our older divisions, just be clear and concise. That's why the under center is a great way to receive the ball cleanly from center to quarterback, but you also either have a rusher coming in from 10 or 7. So the center quarterback exchange snapping skills is very important. The center needs to be able to snap the ball back quickly to the chest, to the hands of the quarterback, and them to successfully grab it. Now, if it's bobbled and it hits the ground with the rusher coming in, that's technically blow it dead, loss of down. And but discuss that. And if you've got like 2 teams and you're like, hey, you know what? Let's just play. That's a replay so that it's not a loss of down, rehuddle, take another 30 seconds to get another play out, right? You can kind of just, hey, no, bubbled play. We're going to replay the down, and that's something that could be communicated through the coaches. Now, if you're 2 fairly competitive teams and you want to play loss of down because you're kind of gearing up for a little bit more competitive action, that's fine too. When a whistle is blown inadvertently by the referee, the team who is affected can choose to let the play stand or repeat the last play. And that has happened before by me many times. Pass interference. This is when a player makes contact with an opponent and moves that opponent off stride or away from their intended direction. And I don't see it a whole heck of a lot, but coach your players to play the ball and not the body. All I do is teach my players to get the ball at the highest point, go to the football, reach for the ball, those types of things. And some of this pass interference or the grabbing or the clutching or the moving off of the spot just doesn't really exist when you don't coach that. A pick play is an offensive player cannot run into a defensive player to help their own team out. So by design, a lot of the plays that I create and I've run before is kind of a natural pick play. And it's really tough when you're not an official that's not coaching and whatever else to really identify that. But an offensive player can't run straight at a defensive player and get in their way to open up another player. All right. And that comes from just a coaching standpoint. So what you teach your players, like run to that space, not run directly at that player. A defensive player who has maintained stationary position since the ball was snapped shall not be penalized for pass interference if run into by an opponent. Screening. A player who is not playing the ball cannot extend the arms and wave them in to distract the receiver. That's why I just say play the football. So you can't run down the field and put your hands over top of the eyes of the receiver trying to catch the ball. Okay, sportsmanship. Our league is about skill development, sportsmanship, and having fun. Any trash talking and taunting by players, is a warning and an optional penalty. Typically, I don't see this happening. Unfortunately, a lot of the pro style, whether it's CFL, even college, and NFL for sure, that's part of their business. That's part of the entertainment aspect of it. So, young people are they see that and they want to do that. So I just encourage celebration to happen within your team rather than taunting the other team. Celebrate small successes and big successes, and do it in a classy way. Keep things positive, keep the excitement and the cheers and support of your own team and successes, and even the other team. I would constantly always just say, hey, that was a great play, that was a great run, that was a great catch. I like that play, coach. I'm going to steal it. Those types of things. So we've talked about it a lot. Safe play, priority number one. That's the field, that's the players. Avoid contact on offense, be in a good stance on defense, and use your discretion, use your whistle. That's why you have them. Some of the most important principles: safety, skill development, team inclusion, sportsmanship, positive experience. And these are all the role and the main objective as a coach. Make sure everybody gets a touch, plays center, plays quarterback throughout the season, rushes the quarterback, touches the ball once a game. Get the ball into your players' hands, and if you get the ball into their hands, positive plays, you get positive plays. If you try to pass the ball all over the field, deep passes, it's really hard to get those plays. First and second down, and we'll talk about this in a bit, but get some chunk plays, get some 2-3, because 2-3 yard play that gets flagged, the next time the flag doesn't happen, that's a 10-yard play, right? So get the ball into everybody's hands, players' hands. It's not about outcome. This league was never about outcome. It was all about having fun and enjoying the sport of football. As a coach, your energy, actions, and words have a tremendous impact on your players and your team. Be encouraging and positive at all times. And if you have fun and enjoy the games, your players and your parents will too. Okay, I'll get to the questions. Yes. So if we play games at SMF, which I don't know if we're doing this spring or not, again, I'm a little bit disconnected out here in BC. I need to talk to Brian and Tyler, I guess, a little bit more, but yes, everything will be set up if playing at SMF. I do believe that we are playing across the city. So hopefully we have the fields lined, and then the coaches will be responsible to set up the cones. And I even like using cones on a lined field. Can you cross the line / rush once the ball is handed off? No, once the ball is handed off, you can approach the line of scrimmage. You can just approach the line of scrimmage. The rusher can cross the line of scrimmage, but all the other defensive players cannot until the rusher crosses the line of scrimmage. Clear as mud. So as a rusher at 7 or 10 yards, you can move on the snap. The other players can approach the line of scrimmage. If that player is running sideways towards the sideline, the rusher could come across the line of scrimmage. Everybody else holds. Yes, that's true, that the running back can run sideways and throw the ball. So that's why it's tricky. If everybody comes up to the line of scrimmage and they throw the ball, that's why I like zone defense. So it keeps some people back and some people up. Yes, coaches on the field, make sure they're not compromising the play. Yes, getting in the way of the interception. Sometimes the coaches have to do the dynamic warm-ups at the start so that we've got quick moves and can get out of the way in those situations. I always like situating myself back and far. So as an offensive coach, I would be in the backfield and I'd be, 3-4 yards back and to the side. As a defensive coach, I would be in the back end and I would be off to the side. And you just do your best. Sometimes that happens. Someone throws the ball way further than you think and you kind of get in the way. After a handoff behind the line of scrimmage, can the rusher go to that person? Yes. Can the ball be knocked out of the quarterback's hand? Technically, yes, the ball can be tipped. Again, I've been in a national tournament where one of our girls reached to tip the ball, contacted the arm. It was a penalty. We got second place. If you're convert from the 10, can you run the ball? Yes. You can do either side snap or between the legs. To be honest with you, working on this center quarterback skills is so important and should be really highlighted in your practice. And a part of your practice is, okay, we'll get into this in a bit, but I want to touch on this now. Center quarterback exchange. I would go under center. Each one gets 3. So it's just a partner drill. Each one gets 3 under center, down, set, hut, catch the ball, put it to your chin. Okay. And then the other player back and forth 3 times. Then I'd take 3 steps back. I would go side snap for beginners, eventually working through the leg. The sooner you can get the ball back in good position and run forward, the better. Then I do 3 snaps at 3, 3 snaps at 5, 3 snaps at 7. If you can be 7 yards back and catch that ball, that rusher has 14 yards or 17 yards to run to get to you. That's a long time. That means you have more time. That's if they have the arm to throw it. But that exchange is so important and you don't lose a down or replay a down. So it's something to fundamentally work on every time you get to the practice field, or what I like is pre-game practices. So if I play at 11, my team is there at 10:45, 10:20. We have a 30-minute practice prior to the game. Yes, that motion. That is a good question. I believe in pre-snap motion. I haven't heard otherwise. I can check with Tyler and Brian about that, but I do believe that pre-snap motion is allowed. I know in the flag football at the competitive level, yes, it's allowed, and moving players can really dictate, okay, I'm going to start this person here, and I'm going to move that person there. And if the defense follows them over there, well, they're playing cover 1. I know that. And then my quarterback knows that. Okay. The plan is to play it. Thank you, Michelle. Plan is to play at all community fields. Players could move on down set, I think. Ben Hutt. Yes, players can move. They can move prior to any cadence, right? They can approach the line of scrimmage. They can switch the sides of the field. They can kind of move this way and move that way pre-snap. Again, I'm kind of speaking and I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure pre-snap motion is okay. Last fall, I found that some rushers on the D were very fast kids, leaving little or no time for the quarterback even to process what's going on, especially new kids in football. So at times, coaches who says, yes, that is exactly what we want, is for the coaches to discuss if the coaches to discuss about rusher rules. Okay, so let's say you have a really fast rusher, put them at 12, or make it fair as coaches. And that's getting in front of it and talking about it before the game happens. Because once we get into the game, it's really tough to have that clear, concise communication. Hey, Matt, I just want to clarify, if the QB hands off the ball, can't any player go flag the RB? Now QB, just to clarify, if the QB hands off the ball, can't any players go flag the RB now or QB? Like cross the line of scrimmage? Michelle, is that what you mean? Well, I think that you might know more than me in this situation, as I've been removed from coaching flag football. So if I believe that what I was mentioning before was pre-snap. Now you guys are confusing me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press pause on answering these questions. Okay, I don't have an answer for you. That's okay. I'm going to find out an answer for you. I'm going to email that to everybody. After this is done, you will also get a recording of this video and we can tidy up any of those specific details, okay? Because I don't have an answer and that's okay. So everybody, you got 3 minutes on the clock. You can top up your coffees. You could throw in a little Baileys. We're going to switch gears. We're going to get ready for the second half of the presentation in about 2 minutes, okay? All right, and we're back. I'm recording. This is the longest my computer has lasted on a virtual coaches clinic so far. This is great. All right, again, in regards to the questions, I don't have an answer and I will provide them. I'll provide an answer as soon as I can. Okay, let's start talking about practice plans. Okay, from I'm just opening up the Football Canada app on testing. Okay, I'm back. Well, I showed you the app briefly and then that kicked me out of things. Can someone just write in the chat if you can hear me? Buddy, I know you might not have a lot of space, but that's okay. I think the dynamic warm-up is a great place to start teaching skills, fundamentals, and proper stances for all the positions. So first things first, everybody stand up. Sink the bum back, keep the chest up. I know I can't see you on your screens, but I hope you're doing this. Good. This is also the running back stance. Okay. Okay, stand up. Okay, find running back stance. Reach up in the air on your tiptoes. Stance. Oh, you guys are moving slow this morning. Reach up. Stance. Up. Up. Stance. Okay, from here, let's jog it out. So start running back stance. We're going to jog to each line back. Ready, go, and then jog, turn around, come back. All right, we're kind of jogging on the spot. Running back stance. High knee run. Ready, go. Arm action, high knees, lift the toes. Running back stance. Bum kick. Running back stance. Stand up. Let's work on our squat. Squat, up, down, up. So we're working on fundamental movement patterns. We're working on skill-specific positions. Okay, from squat, from running back stance, let's turn it into receiver stance. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. On the football field, I always teach, it's a clinic in socks. What's going on? Okay, so I always teach 1 foot in front, like track, like fast sprinter. And so my foot that's forward is always closest to the ball. Okay, so then in the future, when you run 3-step routes, that's 3 steps, and then you're planting and turning back to the ball. So we've got receiver stance. Okay, receivers, switch your feet, other foot forward. I hope you're all doing this, and I'm just not the only one doing this. So we got a good receiver stance, nice tight core, good fast. And then from here, we're going to skip across. Ready, go, skip. Working on running, rhythm, jumping, knee drive, skip across. Okay, I'm getting tired. Okay, running back stance, receiver stance. Okay, from here, okay, let's get into running back stance. Let's jump, okay, like hop like bunnies, 2 feet. Okay, stance. I'm giving you lots in a short time. Hop, hop, squat. Hop, hop, squat. Hop, hop, squat. Hop, hop, squat. I like this one because it's teaching deceleration, stabilization, and landing and control. Okay, from here, we could do 1 foot stuff. Okay, balance on one leg, start in receiver stance. Step forward on one leg. Okay, now we're going to march it forward. Arm action, knee drive. Okay, receiver stance, other foot forward. Okay, now we're going to march it forward again. High knee drive. Pull the toes up. Good. Then from there, let's get into our defensive stance. So it's like running back stance. I kind of teach hands in front like this. Okay, let's reach up. Stance. Up. Up. Well, some of you went into stance. Come on, up. Stance. Stance. Motor your feet. Motor your feet. Good. All right. I'm starting to warm up. Just feeling really good here. Okay, so stance, motor, side shuffle, right? You can shuffle one way, shuffle the other way. All right. From here, we're going to go side shuffle between the cones. Ready? Just take a couple steps. Go side shuffle, stay low, side shuffle, stay low. Okay. From here, karaoke. Cross those hips up like this, rotate through the core, back and forth. All right, and then I also like this one here, the starfish shuffle, where you're jumping and you're moving your arms back and forth. So we're moving forward and back. We're moving laterally, okay? We've done a few of the different positions. We've done running back, we've done receiver, we've done defense, okay? From here, you can get quarterback stance, and everybody gets in a quarterback stance. And on someone's cadence or everybody cadence, ready, down, set, hut, we start sprinting. Okay, so just try to include a little bit of all the positions in your warm-up. Let me catch my breath. Okay, so I tried to use the app last time and it kind of froze up my computer a little bit, but we can give it one more try. I just want to kind of show you that there's lots of options here. And one thing as a coach is now you can fill your coach's toolbox. Okay, I hope I'm still online. So we have drills, long list of areas. Some of these things are really relevant to grade 5, 6, 7, 8. Some are not. It's your job to kind of sift through these things, and you have plays. Okay, and you can sift through them and you add them to your favorites. Okay, in the top right corner, there's a heart. You add them to your favorites and you can kind of articulate things of that nature. Okay, you can kind of just keep creating, whether it's drills, whether it's warm-ups, stuff like that. All right, I'm still. Okay, another thing that I want to show you is on our website. Just 1 second. Oh no. Can you guys, yeah, okay, I hope you guys can see this. So we're in 5-on-5 flag football, and there's a drop-down arrow here, and then there's some resources. And then on there, there's some offensive playbooks. Now this one was geared towards a national men's team, but their concepts are here. You can see that there's color coordination, which I like, between the numbers. So on my playbook, every left wide receiver is going to be blue, and every right is going to be gray, and a green and an orange and a yellow. And then you can see there's numbers correlated to that as well. So this is all hook. This is one of my favorite plays. If a team has 2 high safeties and they've got 3 people low and the rusher leaves on the snap, well, I know that I can run all hook and find one of those spots in between those 2 low defenders and have some success. Simple and easy. We need plays. We need, I guess, plays to get the ball into players' hands so that they can have some fun and they can make some plays. So all hook. And this one they call the flute. You can create any name that you want, flag and outs. Essentially, they've got pre-stop motion. Again, they got color coordination and they got numbers. Okay. And you can see that they've got, outs and flies. So I'm not going to get into this whole playbook. You guys can look at that on your own. There's also a little bit on defense as well. So there's a defensive playbook, which is a lot more complex than, um, but it does talk about certain philosophies, triangle, having one high, having two low, okay, having the rusher go, right? And then a weak side. So this is a little bit more high end, but feel free to take a look at it and read it and kind of understand a little bit about what, high end stuff is, and just take whatever you want. So you've got, kind of a box here, right? The rusher goes, you've got defenders low and high. You have stuff with outside leverage from your low players. If a team likes to run to the sidelines, you want them low and outside. They're attacking the middle. Okay. Diamond defense. So anyways, there's some resources on our football Sask webs or on our Saskatoon Minor Football website under the drop down tab of our flag. Okay, so a couple things that I like to do. I like playbooks, not whiteboard. I like playbooks rather than whiteboards, because on a whiteboard you have to draw it every play, which is okay at times. I'm using this for now. Practice plans, okay. I don't even know if that's backwards or forwards for you guys or what. Practice plans, you always want to have a warm up. I like to teach skills or like stances in the warm up. I like it to be fun. Teach them fundamental movement patterns, things that relate to football and on the field. From there, skill specifics. So skills, so that's center quarterback exchange, that's toss plays, like toss right and left, that's handoffs, that's short passes. And then, so skills, individual skills, right? Then you can take it more into kind of drills, whether it's a running play drill, passing plays, more like not plays per se, running drills, I should put. Flagging drills, things specific. So run, pass, flag. Okay, those things need to be covered in every practice, and you can do different drills within your practices, but kind of chart the course. If you're going to practice once a week and you're going to play once a week, or pre-practice or pre-game practice, which is nice. I always liked, we were playing, if we could get there a half an hour early and do a half an hour of drills before we play, that's just more reps. And at the end of the day, more reps for your players, which creates more success when they see it on the field. So kind of have a plan in place, warm up. These are the skills that I want to do. This is the running drill I want to do today. This is the passing drill I wanted to do today. This is the flagging drill I want to do today. And then you can get into more offensive and defensive concepts towards the ends. So offensive and defensive systems. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to discuss a couple of drills and start kind of taking them from a point A and then adding to them and creating a progression to them. Again, this is an overall kind of comprehensive flag clinic but we also have discussed moving into some more specific stuff. So there might be some hour-long sessions just talking about offense, or some hour-longs just talking about defense, or some specifics. So I'm going to kind of do a wide variety of things here. And some of you might already know all of this stuff. And some of you might pick up one thing today, and that one thing hopefully can help you out. So with a drill, first thing that I like to do with a drill is it's got to have a name. The reason why I name the drill is that as you start running these drills with your players, you can name the drill and they already know what's coming in front of them. Okay. Typically, we'll do the dynamic warm up, and then I'll give them a water break real quick, like a minute, which means you have 1 minute to set up the drill. Okay. First drill, while they're getting their water break, or if you have assistant coaches, this is where you can finish the dynamic. The assistant coach is already set up. Zig, zag, running drill. Zigzag run, that's what I used to call it. Jogging my memory here. Zigzag run. Okay, it's a very easy drill. What it does is it gets a center and a quarterback. Let me see this all right. Center and a quarterback and a running back. Okay, so we work on center quarterback exchange. Work on center quarterback exchange, and we're going to run right on a toss play. Sometimes I hand it off, sometimes I toss. It doesn't really matter, but the quarterback is going to toss this ball out here. This player is going to run to the first cone or a coach. They're going to evade, run to another one, and then they're going to try to get to the sidelines and score. Okay, so the lineup starts over here. Here's where all the players are. You go from center to quarterback, quarterback to running back, you run the drill, and then you fill into the back of the line and you go through the line again. All right, center quarterback exchange, 3-yard depth under center. If it's a run play and you want to get the ball out quick, you can go 5-yard depth. All right, so from here, center quarterback exchange, toss to the right. Okay, how do we make this more difficult, or how do we add more to this? Okay, so this would be part 1. So maybe this is week 1 of the zigzag run drill. Okay, now you add fake reverse. Okay, so this, on your, maybe in your playbook you have a run right. And I know it's trickier as you get a little bit older with the divisions and the speed and stuff like that. When I was coaching, most recently, I coached grade 5, 6, 7, 8s. And I was a kind of a group of new players, and I had to run the ball. I didn't have a really dominant quarterback. I had to get the ball into my girls' hands, and I had to let them try to have success. And so it depends what you're working with. Yeah, if you got a lot of great quarterbacks, sure, let's open up the passing game, but you got to start somewhere and you got to get positive plays. Because if you get 2 positive plays, it makes 3rd down and half a lot more manageable. If 2 incompletions and you've got 3rd and 20 to get to half, that's a difficult play. So we want to get small chunks, however that is. Well, you build it in practice by being able to run the ball a little bit, okay, or pass the ball short. So we're doing run right now. So I've got zigzag run, and we're going to go toss to the right, and then you're going to set up a receiver here, and then that receiver is going to run a fake reverse, and then from here it's zigzag sidelines. Look at my drawing. It's embarrassing. That's okay. So we started off zigzag run on air or on cones or on coaches. Then we added a receiver out here to give that reverse action, because if they are playing cover 1, this is a defender, this is the running back's defender, this player gets the ball coming over here, and if they're playing cover 1, this player goes this way to follow their player, and then these players might unintentionally slow each other down, and then this player can get the sideline with a fake reverse. In behind, always in behind, fake reverse. What else can we do here? Okay, center, quarterback, running back, receiver. Okay, we can add defense, like we can add D players. Okay, and again, I like to do things kind of both sides, you know, do 10 reps this way, 10 reps, get everybody doing it one time this way and one time the other way. But now we can add like a defender. We could put a defender here, and we can have the rusher here, starting at whatever depth that they start at specifically in your league. Okay. Quarterback says down, set, hut. The rusher's coming on go. Okay. You can run the reverse or fake the reverse, maybe create a little bit more gameplay with that a little bit, but essentially taking a part of a drill from a simple zigzag run on cones to maybe adding some coaches on the defense to make it a little bit more elusive, to adding a receiver that you're going to run a fake reverse to then giving it to that receiver to run through that way, and then adding some defense. So there's kind of like 5 steps here to this one drill. Confusing? I hope not. But again, if you go on YouTube, I'm just going to move my bar here. So this guy right here, he's got a lot of content, and it's fairly good. He's enthusiastic and he's got a lot of content. And you know, I was looking around. Now the thing is that you kind of, I'm going to let you be your own coach and pick some of these things that you like. So whether it's a play or whether it's a drill, and then you come up with your 5 key points of teaching this drill. Okay, so you set the drill up, it has a name, you've got 5 points. Okay, something that you like. So for this running back drill that I just had, 5 key points was good exchanges, run to space, evade, score. Okay, something along those lines. And you got to kind of make what works for you. But we want things to be consistent. We want things to run in practice like it will run in a game. So you do a drill that translates to the play that you're going to run in the game. So we get that transfer of knowledge from the practice field to the game. Okay. So again, this guy's really good. His videos, some are long, some are short. There's a lot of teaching and coaching. He does a good job. So pick around. I'll send the link when I send the follow-up here. You know, look around. Like there's a lot of talking involved. So I'm not going to get you know, and it might crash this whole thing down. So, so with that being said, maybe I'll just stop the share. Okay. So anyways, I will send that, but it's, okay. So that is a running back drill. Okay, where it kind of gets everybody playing all the positions and everybody successfully running that play. Then you can add things on to the end of it to like make it a little bit more competitive or not so just on air, right? Because we want to prepare them for gameplay. So let's pick a different drill. Let's do a passing drill. Actually, let's do a defensive drill. My specialty. Okay, so this one is called, I'm going to call this one D Pursuit. I just made it up. Okay, so we have a line of scrimmage right here. I quite like this one. Okay, all the other bodies are back here. There's going to be 3 lines. Okay, like that. Then there's going to be 3 players lined up at 5 yards away. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3. Let's make them a little more narrow. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to set this up on your practice field. Okay, so this is the width of the practice field. You're going to have 3 cones, one at 5, one at 10, one at 15, one at 5, 10, 15. Okay. Defensive coach, you're right here. This is the coach right in the middle. You're going to say, okay, when I say down set hut, everybody's going to come up to the line of scrimmage. Okay, so down set hut. Okay, they're going to call out run. So as a defense, as the coach right here, I'm going to flash the ball to the side, and it's going to just, I'm just going to say run. So everybody's going to say run, and they're going to run up, and they're going to motor their feet. Okay, motor their feet. So they're sprinting to the line of scrimmage and they motor. Okay, then from here, I direct them with the football. Okay, you can go right, left. Okay, I can also make them jump, and I can make them hit the ground. Not that we want to go on the ground, right? But teaching these movements of up and down is good. So then I can go jump or down, or I could shuffle them again. Typically, I give about 3 cues. It's run, 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 motor, jump, shuffle, shuffle. And then what I'll do is I'll say pursue. And pursue, they have to get to a cone. So if I point the ball on an angle and I pursue this way, so my angle is going to point this way, everybody on this has to pick a cone. So this person is closest here. They've got to get to this cone and get square and motor their feet. This player right here in the center has to get to the second cone, get square and motor their feet. And this person on the far side has a long run on an angle to get to this cone and square up and motor their feet. And then when I say through, they all run to the backs of the line of scrimmage and they pick a new line to line up. Again, D pursuit. I don't know. I kind of like that one. It gets them doing a lot of different things. Approaching the line of scrimmage on a run look, if you're a short zone defender, or if that's the player in your coverage, cover 1 that's getting the ball, they attack the line of scrimmage. They motor their feet, because active feet are better than stuck and slow feet. If your feet are stuck in the ground, offensive players can get around you. If your feet are motoring, you're in good space. You're square to the line of scrimmage, so you can go right, left, up, down, pursuit. Now you've got to pick an angle, okay, that's going down the field. And we all know that sometimes if the run play runs over here, this player ends up getting the flag way down the field over here. Okay. D pursuit. I just got to get videos of some of these things. We'll see. Okay. So that's kind of a look. That's kind of a start at a couple of different drills. We did a run play. We did defensive play. I think flagging is pretty important, obviously. So let's go. So square flag, real simple. I would try to set up 2 to 3 squares, miniature squares. I would set up my defense over here, okay? My offense over here. There'd be a couple of players in this line. If you can have multiple coaches and multiple drills happening at the same time, that's more touches. Unfortunately, if you're one coach for 12 players, that's 6 kids in this line, that's 6 kids in this line, that's watching time, which isn't bad. You can take mental reps and watch and learn, but players need repetitions. They need to practice, practice, and practice. So from here, okay, you can have them with a ball in an offensive stance, and the defender has outside leverage and they're square at 5 yards. On the cadence or on the whistle, they're coming in, closing the distance, and this player is trying to score. Okay, so they're trying to go straight forward, or in this situation, I always keep outside leverage. So if this is where the ball is, and this player is on the outside of the field, that's outside leverage. If this player loses contain and outside leverage, on run plays or pass plays or any type of plays, typically what happens, this player gets to the sideline. And what happens when offensive players get to the sidelines? Touchdowns. So as an offensive player, when you're running the ball or you want to try to find space, it's to the sideline because you can go score. But as a defense, you want to prevent them from getting to the sideline. That's why I like this little drill here, which is kind of a leverage square flagging drill, okay? Where you've got a box. It's not a very nice box. We got O and D. We are close the distance, maintaining being square, okay? And then if you can take the flag off of this player within this 5-yard box, that's a good play. If that player beats you to the inside, no push-ups. If that offensive player beats you to the outside of the field, even if you get the flag, push-ups, right? Because we want to teach everything, forcing back into where your teammates are, forcing back into where your teammates are. If you get to the sidelines, then. Okay, so that was square flag, pretty simple, right? One-on-one flagging. Let's go chase flag. So in this situation, okay, we're kind of here. We've got our offense right here, and we've got our defense right here. And this is like 15 yards, okay? Something like that. The offense is already going to have the ball, and the defense is going to be at 5 yards. And this offensive player on downset hut or the blow of the whistle is going to be moving like this. And the idea is for this defender, okay, to pick an angle, okay, to intercept this player, okay, at some point in time, all right, or force them back in, but staying in front of them. We don't want this player, a cutback is a nice run where they fake outside and cut back. But as a defender, we want to stay and close the distance to the inside hip. Play the flag, close the distance to the inside hip and play the flag when you're in inside chase pursuit, okay? Same thing could be said coming from the outside. Close the distance, play the outside flag and force them back into your help. So you see how you're working two different leverages, outside in, inside out. So those are two very simple flag drills that you can do. That's kind of a one-on-one situation. Okay. I'm going to show you my playbook, some plays that I did, and I'm going to tell you a story about them. So I went to my first national tournament for flag football a while ago. This is when I was coaching my niece and all of her friends, and we had some really good athletes, and we won provincials, and which was a close game, and we didn't really know what we were doing, and we got to nationals, and I had a playbook and played the first day of football, and I put the playbook in the garbage and I drew up a new one because when you start having a rusher that's leaving at the at the snap, and you have to kind of figure out what's going to work. And so this playbook here, I kind of pulled from going to nationals for 3 years. I think we went 3 years in a row, and then I didn't coach the fourth one because I had some other commitments and stuff. So, but really talented group of girls, and these were some of the plays that I borrowed from other teams across the country, and plus made a few myself. So as you can see, when you start coaching from the sidelines, you're going to have a way to call in plays. So ways that I called in plays was this number right here, 10 and 20 or 11 and 21, which just means like a flip of the play, if you notice where the receivers are. Also, the quarterback had a playbook and I had a playbook. And then I color coordinated all of these white circles. I think the left was green, center was black. This player was any, gold, pink, green, it doesn't matter, pick your colors. But then what I also had is I had numbers inside these circles. So this was player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, player 5. This was player 1, player 4, player 2, 3, 5. Anyways, so then what I could do from when I was calling a play, if I wanted play 20, which is the same as play 10, but when you're calling these plays all game, you have to be able to disguise them. And then I could say a color. So play 20, look pink and green. So then she's looking just to the right. Because as an offense, if you give a quarterback the whole field to look at, that's a lot of action going on. But if you can give a quarterback half the field to look at, then they're going to have 2 receivers to look at and half the defense to look at, which is a little bit more successful in your pass plays. Okay, so this was all hooks. If any team played with a too high safety, okay, this is what we'd run, all hooks. Because what would we get on first down is a positive play. And you have to get stack positive plays to get first downs to score. If you don't move the ball on first, second down, very difficult to get 25 yards. Said it before and I'll say it again. So what I learned was, okay, so this is the defense that I was playing against. They had 2 high safeties, they had a rusher, and they had 2 girls here. Okay. Okay. On the snap of the ball, this rusher's gone. I had a hook here, I had a hook in the middle, I had a hook here, and a hook here. So there's 2 defenders down there, and I had 4 receivers. And I had a really good quarterback who actually quarterbacks the Valkyries women's tackle football team now. And she would be able to look at one of those receivers, move the defender, and throw to the one person right beside. So there was just a 2-person game. Okay. And I know that maybe in grade 5, 6, we might not have a quarterback that can look off, but the concept of putting 2 receivers where there's 1 defender and then letting your quarterback choose who's open, it still counts. Okay. Can everybody see this playbook that I'm looking at right now? Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's look at the next play here. Play 23. Okay. You've got to also look at, okay, well, let's say this team that you're playing plays a lot of for one person on 1 player, 1 girl covering 1 girl or 1 boy covering 1 boy. Then you have to think, okay, well, if I just run all hooks, they're going to be standing there. Okay, so what's another play that I can run? Well, I've got this flag and smash out. So flags, these inside receivers are going to come up the field and run to the corners, or in stadiums, they got flags there. That's why we call that route a flag. And then this player right here on the outsides are going to smash towards the middle and run out. Smash out. Okay. And we want to teach our players like, okay, if I'm going to the flag, I can't just like run to the flag. I've got to take 1 or 2 steps to the post and then go to the flag. Because if you're playing against someone in cover 1 defense, that player is going to be following you. So if you take 2 steps this way and then come back that way, that's going to give you some separation. Okay. So I like this when I saw teams that played a lot of cover 1. How about let's go look at play 12-22. Okay, this is just a simple in and out concept. In our first tournament, we played Quebec. Quebec was undefeated. We were Saskatchewan on day 2, and we ended up scoring a touchdown on the first drive with this play. And all we did was we picked on this outside defender, and you run a curl in behind, and you run an out in front of their face. And my quarterback just chose whoever was open. We marched down the field, we scored, we got the convert, we held them to 6 points, and we gave them their only loss of the tournament. So simple can work. Okay. This is another one that I liked. I like these crossers. So crossers 1, crossers 2. Notice that I made a little note there to wait for rusher, because sometimes you can come up with these great plans as an offensive coach. Oh, I'm going to run this person here. But if you run into the rusher, it's a penalty and you lose yards, right? So We don't want to do that. So you got to wait for the rusher. But these crossers here just gets a lot of action going across the field. So if someone's playing a lot of cover one, then this is good because you get those natural rubs. You don't want to run directly at anybody, but there's some confusion as you go across the field. Okay. So as you're building a playbook for your grade 5, 6, or 7, 8 team, you have to identify, start with the basics. Okay. Start with things that are very simple. All hooks. Even these patterns, some of them are a little bit more complicated. It's like if you look in the bottom here, we've got motion pre-snap, and then we've got some verticals and we got some underneaths. So I like 1828. You get a fly down the sidelines, you get a post down the center of the field, you get a drag coming all the way across, and you get the quarterback rolling to the right. I like moving my quarterback to one half of the field. They look at half the field. So they've got a deep option, a deep middle, and an underneath on one half of the field. So you've got to start building your playbooks in regards to A, do you have a quarterback that can throw it? B, do you have to run the ball? And I really like I really like running the ball. I think that it's a safe way to get the ball in someone's hands. Okay, let's go to that. Can you guys see this? I hope so. Some technical prowess. Better at the football part, I tell you. Okay, so here's where I get into a couple of running plays. All right, so play 31, 34. Okay, so from here, quarterback is under center, and these happen really, really quick. So down, set, hut. My quarterback literally turns the back from the defense. And this, I used to color these things, mind you. So then this person would be pink. And then I'd say pink. And so pink keeps the ball. And then fake. Yeah.
Can't see it.
Oh, okay. Thanks for chiming in. How about now?
No, still can't see the open playbook. We can see you're selecting playbooks, but not the open PDF. You might have to switch windows you're sharing.
No?
Nope, same thing.
Oh, geez.
We see your files, we just don't see the actual open PDF. Oh, there it is.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'll figure it out. Thanks for your help. So these first couple plays here I like because they have running action and it's quick. So if you're against a team, like let's say you just need to get the ball in players' hands. This one here, there's 2 reverse actions. So I call this one player pink, and if I call 31 pink, pink gets the ball and keeps the ball and fakes the reverse. If I call 31 green and this player is green, this is a fake and this is a give. If I called 31 pink green, that's pink gets the ball, green takes the reverse. Okay. And then after you run that run play a little bit, you kind of like the defense is like all on top of it, right? Then I'd go 31 6, and you can see this little number 6 here, right? So then she goes fake, and throws it. So the defense creeps up because we've ran the ball 3 times in a row. And then it's fake, turn around and toss. And sometimes you catch the defense napping and you get a big play. Sometimes you don't. So let's look at scissors. So this is what I based my offensive off of in the last few years. This was not with this team, mind you. This was with a bunch of girls that didn't have a coach, and I volunteered to coach, and I was also running the league at the time and whatever else. We had lots of fun. We learned a lot. And so this is called scissors. So again, I would color these players. I would put the center really close to the quarterback really close to the center, because the further you are away, the further you are from the line of scrimmage, the further away you are from getting a positive play. So I would just call this scissors. So this player is, let's say, pink. This player is green. Okay, so I'd call 33 green, and the first give, sorry, 33 pink. The first give would be quick, and I try to catch the defense off guard. And then typically, usually there's a player outside and there's a player inside, and I try to get some positive yards right through there, and or try to bounce to the outside. Okay. Also, I could go 30, 33, or I'd call it 34, because there's two different numbers, right? This is when you have to be on the sideline and you're not in the huddle, right? But I'd call, okay, 34, even if I wanted to run the same play over again. So I call it 33 the first time, I call it 34 this time, and I go, fake, no, I just say green. So pink goes first, and then green goes second, right? So that you get this scissor action, and it kind of messes up the defense. And then sometimes I would throw to the center, because where does the rusher come from every play? Middle of the field, right? So if the middle of the field is typically open, I will go 33 black, and this player is running a hook right into the middle of the field. So she goes fake handoff, turn around, the rusher's in their face, and they throw it right over top of the rusher, right into the center of the field. Some of these other plays, they look fancy. I didn't use them. That's how fancy they were. They didn't work. Okay. Now, this is my favorite part of the playbook. Okay, so this is, and again, these are things that I picked up on or I take in. And sometimes you see a team and they're like, oh, I really like that play. You jot the play down and take it if you like it and you think it's going to work for you, right? That's what coaching is. Coaching is just sharing, borrowing other people's stuff. So this is one that I really liked on short yardage. So basically it's quick trips right or quick trips left, and it would be a quick call. And the idea is you get two players running a hook at about 5 yards or 3 yards, and you get a player to nuzzle in right underneath and catch the ball. So again, this was national competition, U16, U18, pretty competitive. So this type of kind of plays were shamed. You can do these types of plays where you're going to fake like you're running the hook, but really they're just standing there to let this person catch the ball. So once we ran that a couple times in our short yardage situations, right? Because you want to show something. You want to have things look the same and then do something different. And that's how you catch defenses off guard. Oh, I'm going to run. No, I'm going to pass. And that's when you get them. You got to set yourself up. If you just try to pass 3 times and you don't have, whether it's the system in place or the athletes in place or the success in place, then football doesn't become very fun. But if you set things up and work in a progression and show the same thing but do different things out of it, then you're able to start to give your team a pretty good chance for success. So with this play, it was second down, and it was second and short or third and short with half, and we're playing Quebec, and they're very good at flag football. And this was a different tournament, but we set up this play, and we knew, because everybody studies film at these tournaments, so we knew that they knew this was coming. And I called the fake, which was 7 or 8 or something, where they fake this play and then they go deep, and we got a touchdown, and we ended up putting that game away. But anyways, you have to set things up. And I know that in grade 5, 6, and 7, 8, like sometimes you're just trying to have some success, and that's great. But I'm just saying, as your team progresses throughout the season, you have to, be able to progress with them and, take plays and move plays along. I like these crossers. So look at this bunch formation. If I'm a right-handed receiver, okay, or look at this, look at 88. If I'm a right-handed quarterback, I like this. Everybody's on the left. Number 3 comes across the field, and these lines are 5 yards apart. So this is about a 6 yard in all the way across the field. I would draw this play if I was working with some of the younger divisions, at 3 yards across the field. but anyways, it makes no difference. This black player gets down the sidelines far and fast on the snap, gets out of the rusher's way. So the rusher starts at 7 or 10 down set hut. This player's out of the way, no infraction here. This player takes a little while to get there, so the rusher should be gone. This player is running the post to the middle of the field, and this player is clearing out on the flag, and I'd get my quarterback to roll right. All right. And then you have a sideline route, you have an intermediate underneath route, and you have a deep route. So you have 3 looks for your quarterback on one side of the field. And if they're playing cover 1, that's pretty good because you get these players coming from across the field. And if they're in 2-2 zone, you've got 2 players short, okay, and 1 player deep, and you kind of got a sideline to work with and another player in the middle because that short defender is going to be on this side. So you've got a 2-on-1 essentially in the short zone, and you've got 1 player moving into that deep player on the field. Okay, again, flies and deep crossers, play 96. I drew this up against cover 2. Cover 2 meaning 2 players high, 2 players low. Okay, so if you've got 2 low players and it's like 3rd and 10 or something, even if there's 3 players high, this is quite a good one. I like the center in this option here because if you've got 2 players high, all right, think about those X's being right here in the middles of the field like this. They're kind of taking away the outside. All right, then you've got players underneath and you've got a rush coming in. Well, this number 2 just leaks right in the middle of that 2 deep zone and kind of sits there, right? They go up 5 yards and break off and then hopefully find the holes in the zone. Okay, goal line plays. Goal line, it's tough. It tightens up down on the goal line. You have a lot less space. So at our SMF fields, which we're not using this season, we're going to have 7-yard end zones. That's small, tight space. And the community fields, which we're using this year, it's going to be bigger, 10 yards, which is a little bit more space, but you put a lot of body, you put 10 bodies in there, or 9 bodies plus the quarterback throwing into the mess, it makes things difficult. So you got to have specific goal line plays. And I quite like these 2 plays here on the very bottom of the screen. So again, they would be used for typically cover 1 situations, because once we get into the goal line area, sometimes we see a lot of one-on-one coverage. So that means 1 player following 1 player. So I kind of like this right here where money number 1 was on the snap of the ball, this center goes vertical for 5 yards, and then the rusher goes by and they turn to the right. And then on the snap of the ball, this inside receiver, as this center is leaving this way, goes immediately to the left before the rusher is there. So they're gone to the left. This player goes about 7 yards and across the field. So we've got 2 players moving left, 2 players moving right, and the quarterback has option to roll either side. This one here, the center is on a deep drag at about 10 yards. Okay, so the center on 77, deep drag towards the corner, and on this one going out to the sidelines and in. Okay, going out to the sidelines and in. And this would be kind of a choice route. And I know this is probably a little bit more technical than if you're just picking up a playbook for the first time and working with some grade 3 or grade 5s and 6s. But the ideas are there that you're going to get, some people crossing directions. You're going to get someone working back to the quarterback. You're going to threaten the sidelines. You're going to threaten the middle of the field where the rusher comes from. Okay. So when you're creating your playbook, start with the defense or start with what you got. So do you have, brand new people playing football? Because if you do, and they don't have any quarterback experience or running patterns experience, you have to teach the route tree. Okay. So there's a 3-step hitch. There's a 7-yard hook. There's a 5-yard out. There's a 5-yard in. There is a fly. There is a post. There is a flag. There is an out and up. There is a smash out, smash in. Lots of options, right? But try to keep things simple. You have to, what I would suggest is just drawing out, like there's lots of resources out there online, and you have to kind of draw some things out. So if you know that you're going to see 2 high safety, you're going to see a rusher at 10 let's put that rusher at 10 yards. And then 2 low defenders like this. And this is your line of scrimmage. Okay. This rusher is going to leave on the snap. Okay. What are your options? Okay. You've got 2 players low that are in the short zone quadrants, right? Think quadrants. This player has this quadrant, that player has this quadrant, and vice versa. Okay. Down there. So they're like that. So if you have a hook here, and then you have, let's go with our center here running, no, I don't want to do that. A hook right in the middle, right? And then running a hook here. I know it just looks like probably a bunch of squiggly lines, and then that rusher disappears from there. So you have a hook in the middle of the field. You've got 2 open players out here. You've got 3 players on 2. And then you can take your inside receiver, maybe comes from running back and runs deep down the center of the field, because you got to attack where the holes are. At the end of the day, you have to get the ball into your players' hands. I suggest running, short passes, from passes, try to create something that your players are comfortable with, because if they have to think too much, they play slow. But if you can create repetition, you can develop their skills. You can do that through drill work. You can do that through drills that translate from the practice field and look and do the same on the practice field, building in a progression to the game. Your players are going to have some pretty good success, I hope, I think, and I know. So in saying that, I really like these clinics. I like to do them in person. And I think moving forward, we're going to offer a few more shorter snippets. So I know that this one was kind of overall and comprehensive, and I did talk a little bit about drills and I talked a little bit about offense, but I think that what I could do in the future is really have a 45-minute or an hour-long presentation geared towards offensive systems, geared towards defense, geared towards drills or flagging, or different types of specifics in regards to the game of flag football. We could roll those out and make sure that our coaches have a very full toolbox for the upcoming season. If anybody has any questions, feel free to fire them up on the chat right now. I know there was a lot of discussion about the rules and stuff like that. I'm going to visit that afterwards and clarify things. It seems like Michelle did some digging and she found some resolve, and I will email that. But thank you all for tuning in to our first ever virtual clinics offered by SMF for flag football. If you have any questions, feel free to send them right now, and have a great day. Oh, good, getting some good feedback. Thank you, guys.
Great session as usual. You're awesome.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. I miss everybody, and hopefully I can be back around football in May. Right now, that's the plan. So thanks everybody so much. Appreciate it. Oh, all the thank yous coming in. That feels good. I think it went a little bit smoother than my first one. I was a little less nervous. I knew what I was doing a little bit. So again, this will be sent out to you, and again, as well as some of the rule updates. And, let's have a great start to the season, everybody.